We have heard from a lot of you about this. The metro, specifically Edmond, has been hit with a couple of, I would say, relatively small earthquakes in the last few days, but they still certainly get your attention. I felt last night it was a 2.6 late Saturday morning, and then another 2.6 magnitude last night about 11:40 p.m. Both a few miles northeast of Edmond. Joining us now to talk about the latest round of shaking, we have Dr. Nick Heyman, the director of the Oklahoma Geological Survey. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
My first question, our viewers would probably just be curious to know, what is the Oklahoma Geological Survey and what do you do?
Yeah, we're a unit within the University of Oklahoma, but we're also a state agency, so we serve all of Oklahoma, including other universities. And most importantly for this discussion, we run the state seismic network as a public facility for Oklahoma.
I think when people feel these earthquakes, like I said, I felt this one last night and it was relatively small. It's one of those where you think, was that the wind? Was that an earthquake? But your first question is, what's causing it? What would be your answer?
Right, so it's a complicated question, but also simple to answer in some ways. Earthquakes are scary. They can be very dangerous. In Oklahoma, we're lucky in that we're not sitting on, say, a major fault like the San Andreas Fault in California that might have large magnitude 7 earthquakes or something. But yet there's still a lot of strain in the earth. There still has a lot of energy. And we have found that in the last 20 years, largely through oil and gas industry and other energy industry and activities, we've kind of perturbed some of that. And there's been a rise in earthquake activity.
Sure. We asked the Oklahoma Corporation Commission if they were investigating. A lot of times when we see these earthquake swarms, especially larger ones, we'll see them investigate and then shut down operations in that specific area. Here's what they told us. They said that they are not investigating. This is a quote: "There is no oil and gas activity in the area that is linked to seismicity. There are two things we look for: disposal wells disposing into the Arbuckle Formation and hydraulic fracturing operations," saying that we shut down Arbuckle disposal in the area some years ago, and there are no hydraulic fracturing operations in the area. So my next question would be, could this be aftershocks from those big ones that we felt back in January, those big, larger magnitude ones?
Yeah, well, so first of all, I'd like to say that, you know, the OGS, the Geologic Survey,
yes,
and the Corporation Commission, and the oil and gas industry, we all work together at this. We all care very much on having a responsible energy, and we believe in the energy economy of Oklahoma. So it's not an adversarial relationship between these groups, and we're trying our best to understand how to keep the hazard down. That said, it's very, very difficult to find that one event ever correlates or is linked to one exact industry operation.
Okay.
And once one happens, sometimes they can kind of get away from us a little bit. And that seems to be what's happening in the Edmond area. And there are natural faults. They're in the earth. They're under strain, and they are slipping. And that is part of nature's blessing, if you will, for lack of a better word. And you know, once you sort of poke the bear there, it can be hard to know exactly when it'll quiet down. But I do want to assure everybody that this, generally, one thing I've heard a lot of concern about is that by feeling these earthquakes in the Edmond area, and out the larger one in Prague and down in Norman, there seems to be this concern that the earthquakes will somehow get bigger on their own, and that if you feel 3, maybe the 4th will be even bigger than the 3rd. In fact, seismology, the study of earthquake history, generally makes us a little comforted about that. Like, it's tough to predict, but we generally don't believe that we're in a series of increasing danger.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
so when I felt that one last night, like I said, I knew it wasn't, I guess, super sizable. I mean, we felt much bigger, but I did kind of brace myself, like, could another bigger one be coming? Is that a pre-shock to what we could be anticipating? Your answer to that would probably be not necessarily.
Not necessarily. You know, geologists like myself have gotten in lots of trouble predicting what earthquakes will do. They can be very unpredictable, but in general, the behavior of these is, we don't think that on their own they get bigger. And they are a nuisance, I understand that, and they can be scary, and in some cases, in like the magnitude 5s and above, you can actually have some home damage. So everybody's aware of the very dangerous and sensitive situation, and taking it very seriously, and trying to continue to have an energy industry that's very responsible, and minimize this hazard. So I don't want to come across as saying it's not important. I know it quite is.
Right, absolutely. And I thought you brought up a good point. Oklahoma, you know, we live and breathe natural gas and the oil and gas industry. And so how do you stop the shaking without crippling that industry? And it's probably a very delicate dance.
True, and I'd also like to say for those viewers who are perhaps antagonistic towards oil and gas in our future, there's a lot of concerns about climate change. The energy industry is also quite our path to a lower CO2 economy that will also wrestle with these issues. So it's a very complicated topic, and I encourage anybody to engage with it. I'd also encourage anybody to come to our website, ogs.ou.edu. You should be able to find the network, and it's available free of charge. We try to have it in real time. You can go on it and see the earthquake activity, and it's there with lots of public resources. So we offer that for everybody
Yeah,
to
you
have.
guys really do a great job. This is a look here at the latest earthquake map, and you have them just, spotted all across the state. I did quickly want to ask you this, and you touched on just how it can be so hard to predict, and I think that's what's unsettling for us native Oklahomans. We can, for the most part, prepare and predict severe weather. You can see, okay, this tornado could be coming toward my house. It's hard to predict there's an earthquake that could happen in 5 minutes. Is there any way to know, or is there anything that you can be doing to prepare for potential shaking?
I think if you're concerned, it's always good to have knowledge of what's loose in your house, know where your doorstops are. We have a routine for particularly big earthquakes called drop cover, go under an object and hold on. That would be a really big earthquake. And usually you can feel the P wave, that first wave, and usually I think, oh, is that thunder? Maybe you can be aware of your surroundings. We haven't had anything that really is a life-threatening event, thank goodness, but hopefully we don't. But there are things you can do to educate. And again, on that website, there's lots of educational materials, and we're always going out to schools and community areas and news articles like this to help people, become more educated about it and hopefully less afraid and safer.
Sure. Dr. Nick Heyman, we certainly appreciate the time. Thank you for coming on. I know it was short notice. This just happened last night, so we appreciate the information.
Thank you for having me, Abigail. Yeah.